Hi folks, I'm Matt and welcome to My Expanded Universe, a show where I go through the entire EU in chronological order as best I know how. Folks, we are going to go to part 2 of Paul S Kemp's duology. This one's called Riptide. Of course, it starred in Jaden Korr and basically picking up where we left off. You see Kendron and Mar, those two guys. Mar turns out in the last book, I forgot to mention this, but he turns out to be Force sensitive. So now he has the Force in him. It was a latent Force ability that just came out during the last adventure. So he asked Jaden Korr to train him. So Jaden Korr is training him to be a Jedi. And meanwhile, they're going off in search of those clone Jedi. The one that they encountered earlier, Camps of Salyer, there are more out there. And he's trying to get to the bottom of this whole mystery. Meanwhile, these Jedi clones, which are going by alternate names, and there's a reason for that because they want, when Jaden encounters them, you'll see who they are cloned after. So I like that. They basically just give them different names and they stick to those names going forward. So at first you don't know what type of clones you're looking at here. But they are clones of other very popular Jedi, and they are suffering from the same disease that all clones suffer from, that genetic DNA defect. Now these are clones from the Thrawn era, when Thrawn was it's one of Thrawn's cloning tanks, that he was one of the many experiments he had going on the back burner. So these are Jedi clones. They know there's something wrong with them, and a lot of them are dying off. A lot of them die off before the book ends. They don't even fight anyone. They're just slowly dying. But they're trying to find a cure, just like all clones are at this point. Meanwhile, the one Sith, they kind of know the other Sith has not come back to report, so they must be gone. So they send out these Sith twins to steal, because they're interested in Jaden Korr. Why? I don't remember if we're ever told, but they're interested in what he's up to and what's going on. Maybe they're interested in what other Sith are out there, and maybe Jaden's on the right track. So they send out these two twins called Seal and Nis. Now, I don't remember Seal that much, but Nis has a very cool ability to where they can block the Force for just a short time around you. So for a minute, you won't feel the Force at all. It's a Force block. It's a neat little ability that I've never heard of before, at least I don't recall it happening before, that Paul S Kemp came up to give this character, and it makes Nis a pretty good opponent to go against, because they don't have to be the best swordsman or the strongest in the Force. That little trick can help win a lot of battles. Now, since I gave spoilers for the first one, I may as well give spoilers for this one too. Those Jedi clones, the ones that survive, end up being a clone of Lumia, which we've just heard of. She was the big one of the baddies for Legacy of the Force. They brought her back. Kyle Katarn, which makes sense, right? That's his former master, and now he's got to fight. Ooh, who would win? Kyle Katarn or Jaden Korr? Well, we won't give you that matchup, but we'll give you a clone of Kyle Katarn. And then the other one is Jaden Korr. He's like, wait, whoa. How did Thrawn know who I was back then? I wasn't even alive back then. What's going on here? How is there a clone of me? Because something is up. So that clone doesn't really match the other clones. He knows something's wrong. These Jedi clones, they go onto a Rakatan from like Dawn of the Jedi era station, a Rakatan station, where they encounter an evil Force presence essence that's in the machine. It's inside of the station. Very similar to what we saw with Callistia. So I'm okay with that, because we've seen this happen before where the essence is trapped. But this is an evil essence called Mother. Now, we're never really told who or what Mother is. It's just from an old time. Maybe Mother is Rakatan, or whatever that species is called in Dawn of the Jedi. But Mother is evil, and Mother is interested in these clone Jedi because she thinks that is her way out. She wants to do a Force transfer. She wants to transfer her essence into one of these clones, and we all know that's going to be a bad thing. Now later on, we discover that the one Sith actually cloned Jaden, and here is where things go totally off the wall insane. Jaden fights a clone of himself, and the clone kills Jaden, the real Jaden Korr. Jaden transfers his Force essence unknowingly or knowingly into the station. And then Mar, who is being trained as a Jedi and shouldn't be as strong as Jaden, is able to overcome the clone, ready for this, and transfer the real Jaden Korr's essence back into the clone body. Yeah, that happened. I honestly thought I was misremembering this story, and I had to go back and look at some synopsis in Pablo Hidalgo's book, and I realized that's exactly what happened. I was like, surely I'm remembering this wrong, but that is exactly what happened, and it was so strange. It was so weird to read all that going on. I was like, what was the point? I mean, shock value that he died fighting his clone. You're like, oh my gosh. But then he comes back in the weirdest of ways. And by the way, Jaden Core has no idea what's transpired. He doesn't even know. He thinks the body lying dead is not him, his body, but the clones, and that somehow he got knocked unconscious or something. And Mar's not going to tell him. Why? I don't remember, but why not tell him? I guess he doesn't want him to freak out. Don't freak out. But you're a clone right now. Does this clone have the same defects as the others? I guess not. I don't know if that's made clear. To be honest, I was so confused when reading this, I didn't even ask any of these questions. This is a very odd book here. Anyway, Mother ends up possessing Lumia, the Lumia clone, and she is trying to get off of this old Rakatan station. So what, of course, Jaden and Mar have to do real quick is sabotage the station, have it wreck into the atmosphere, it collides, blows up, Mother is destroyed. So whatever Mother was is not going to escape and get out in the galaxy again, whatever old evil. Again, this is a really weird one. I don't understand it. I mean, in the first one I was okay with, Cross Current, even though, like I told you, I do have problems with time travel or the way they did time travel. And this one, it just got even weirder. Now, don't get me wrong, I was happy to see both of these stories come out because and I like Jaden Core's character. I thought he was an interesting character. But the stories were so weird. I mean, I'm happy to see any Star Wars books come out, and that it's a Star Wars character not based off Han, Luke, or Leia. Bravo to you. That's a very bold move. Not as bold as I thought it would be because they're just capitalizing on the video game at the time, I guess. But at the same time, I was excited for this. I had my hopes up for it, but I just didn't. It was just way too weird for me. Oh, at the end, Jaden is looking over his body and realizes there's a scar missing. He's always had that scar there. He's like, where's my scar? What's going on? Am I me? Or something like that. It has that little question. I guess Paul S Kemp was hoping to hook you into this story so you would beg Del Rey for a third book. But Paul S Kemp, I mean, this story is really weak overall. This duology is. I mean, it's like I said, it's got some highlighted moments in there. I do like some of it, and of course, he does a good job connecting it to other past EU stories. But overall, especially this last part, it was way too strange a story. Almost felt like, if anyone read DC Comics back in the day, an Elseworld story that's totally off the wall and doesn't really mesh well with the rest of it. That's how I felt about this duology. But anyway, that's all the time I have for now. See you next time with another video.